Hi everybody, welcome to Business in a Box, and we're talking about team trackers with Coda. So in the previous two videos, we talked about bringing our OKRs in and then creating our tasks list and then all of the views that we need to be able to really understand the work ahead of us. And today we're going to chat a little bit about dependencies. How can we show the interconnectedness of our tasks and how they work together? So to do this, we're going to be using a very simple tool called lookups. So what we can do with lookups is we can do something like we saw in the previous video, bringing information in from another table. In this case, this is looking up to our objectives table so we can see the goals in a drop-down menu. But you can also decide to create lookups inside of the table that you're working on, a little bit of inception action there. So for example, I could go ahead, right click, and I'm going to choose to insert a column to the left, and we'll call this the dependency. And now I'm going to change the format from a text column over into a lookup column type. So just going to that format option, choosing here, and notice I could create a new table if I'm starting from scratch. I could pull from the other tables in my doc, or I can pull from this particular table, which is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to choose that option, and now I've got this handy little drop down, and notice it shows me all of the values that are over here in that task option. Now the reason why it's pulling from this column is because it is set as the display column. I know that because it has this little icon here. You can always change the display column just by clicking and choosing set as display column. That's another option. So if you don't get it exactly right, you can always switch it around. So now I could go ahead and add all of these dependencies. We can just add all of these tasks, whatever they might be, going through, and notice it has that slightly different treatment, that little outline that highlights, hey, this is a little bit more of what's going on. If I hover over it, it shows me all of the details about that dependency. So I can see all of the links here. Now the other thing that I can do is I could group this dependency column so I can kind of see things in chunks and I know how these things work together. So I could just click on that drop down, choose the group option, and I can go to the left or along the top. In this case, left seems good to me. And we can remove this summary count. I personally don't find that to be particularly valuable. And now I can see how all of the tasks have their subtasks over here. Now let's say you're super into Gantt charts. You really want to see how things work together. The nice thing about this dependency setup is the same thing holds true for your Gantts. So if we had a start and end dates here, let's just go ahead and do that real quick. So now that I have the start and end dates, what I could do is I can switch to a Gantt view. So I just head to the options over here and I can change the view type. So the display could be a chart, and instead of a bar chart, I'm going to just click on choose a Gantt chart. So now here I can see all of the dependencies are collapsible. So I see all of the dates in context. So I can see the large macro task that is the dependency and everything that's inside. Now, of course, your dates would match. This is just sample information, but it's a really helpful way to see how all of these things are together. And back in our table, we could even add conditional formatting. So maybe if the dependency's due date is greater than the start date of this, I want to have it show up in red or even create notifications. All of those are up to you. But this is the main architecture, bringing them together so you can see how all of it's connected. So now it's your turn. Go ahead, add any dependencies you might have in your project tracker, and I'll see you in the next session. Have some fun.